According to a survey conducted in 2020 by the University of Chicago, only 14% of adults say they're very happy. A lot of people in 2020 were unhappy because of all the stress and problems that were happening. This is especially true for those who are dealing with illness, race inequality, and political tensions. It is important to be aware someone you care about is not doing well so that you can help them. When we know someone is unhappy, we can try to form productive conversations, be more empathetic, and have more sympathy for difficulties they might be facing. But sometimes it's not so easy to say we're unhappy. Sometimes it's not so easy for someone to ask for help. What are some signs that an INFJ in your life is unhappy? What little habits or tendencies are warning signs that you should look out for? That's what we'll be exploring today. If you like what this channel is about, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell notification. Now, let's get into it. Number 1, they're unusually impulsive. When INFJs are in a stress-free zone, they typically exhibit carefulness, observation, and insight. They don't like to make sudden decisions because they want to analyze the implications of something first. However, when something feels overwhelming or intolerable, they may not think things through as carefully. This can lead to impulsiveness and sometimes poor choices. When they are stressed, the opposite is true. They become more impulsive, reckless, and hurried in their decisions. They may rush people around or become unusually impatient. They might splurge their savings, buy tickets for a last-minute trip, or blurt out something hastily that they regret later. Number 2, they struggle with self-disclosure. INFJs are typically very private people. They're not always comfortable with sharing their thoughts and feelings with others, even if they trust them. When an INFJ is unhappy, they may struggle to tell anyone because they don't want to burden anyone else with their problems. Number 3, they're easily frustrated. INFJs are usually patient people, but when something frustrates them, it can flare up quickly. They might lash out at those around them or become rigid in their thinking. It's important to be patient with an INFJ if they're struggling with a difficult issue. It might take a while for them to communicate their feelings completely. Number 4, they struggle with emotional engagement. When INFJs are unhappy, it's often difficult for them to feel anything beyond mild irritation or boredom. They may struggle to show their emotions in public or even intimate situations because they don't want to seem needy or dramatic. This makes it hard for those around them to understand what's going on, and it can make relationships difficult as well. Number 5, they're more likely to experience anxiety disorders. INFJs tend to have a higher than average incidence of anxiety disorders, including obsessive compulsive disorder, panic disorder, and generalized anxiety disorder. These disorders can be really tough for people to cope with, often causing significant distress both physically and emotionally. It's important that you try to understand what triggers these conditions in your loved one and offer support no matter what happens. Number 6, they struggle to find meaning in life. INFJs typically have high standards for themselves and others, which can create a sense of emptiness or lack of purpose in the absence of fulfillment. When they're unhappy, they look for ways to compensate by searching for meaning in life. This might manifest itself as spending too much time alone, obsessing over past hurts, or exploring new ideas. If your loved one seems lost without achieving specific goals, there may be a problem that needs addressing. Number 7, they're constantly tired. When INFJs are getting into regular flow states or being inspired, they have energy and optimism for the future. When they're depressed or uninspired, they feel fatigued and drained. INFJs without a vision for the future feel listless and apathetic, as if they're lost in a fog and unable to find a light to guide them home. In order to escape this reality, they may sleep whenever they can, slack on their responsibilities, or just shut down. Number 8, they ghost you. If you're a good friend or a close family member with an INFJ and they suddenly ghost you, there's a good chance that they're overwhelmed. INFJs feel a lot of responsibility for their relationships and will often put other people's needs ahead of their own. They tend to do this for a long time and then suddenly out of the blue go dark. They withdraw from people, even the people they love, until they can re-enter a state of emotional equilibrium. During these phases, even the simplest text message can feel like a huge burden. Getting words out in a socially appropriate, friendly manner can feel confusing and stressful. Many INFJs have reported that they've lost friends over these ghosting periods. If you are an INFJ and you're reading this, try to give your close relationships a heads up that this can happen so that your friends know it's not personal. If you're friends with an INFJ, try to be patient with them during this time. Understand that they are likely just overwhelmed and stressed, and it's not a reflection of their commitment or concern for you. Is it depression? INFJs may go through periods of extreme unhappiness where they withdraw from everyone. They may even feel like they can't take it anymore. During these times, they may exhibit some signs that might suggest they have depression. Some of the most common signs include insomnia or difficulty sleeping, excessive crying, weight gain or loss, restlessness and a constant need for movement, feelings of hopelessness and despair. If you have been noticing one or more of these signs in your friend or loved one, it might be time to get them checked out by a professional. There are treatments available that can help alleviate the symptoms of depression, and they don't have to stay hidden. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.